Well, you can really do three things in terms of your relationship with other people. One, you can put them up on a pedestal where you revere them and you consciously or subconsciously internalize their values. They're not your values, but you ingest them. And the other thing that you can do is you can actually put somebody into a pit where you impose your values onto them. And that's what I think we're alluding to when we
Mm.
say, some of the people closest to us in our lives, our own loved ones, our own family members that don't have the same values as you, that don't understand you. Their value may be financial security. Their values may be paying off a 30-year mortgage in 15 years. Their values may be early retirement. Their values may be different types of things. And if that doesn't align with them, they judge you and they put you in a pit and they impose their values on you. Or you can come to the highest realizations that we're all the same, that we all have a unique fingerprint and a unique hierarchy of values, and that we're actually all equal, which is different. And that's the best ideal because then we respect each other and we allow
Right.
everybody to be who they're meant to be.
Who they're meant to be. And
Yeah.
I reminded me of another one. I mean, you talked one time too of those that had given up what they really wanted to do, and
Mm.
talking to them years later, and like you can see something in their eyes, like
Mm.
something's dead inside.
Mm.
There's missing, because I've experienced periods of that myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason or justification, you work in a job and just takes over, and you don't
Sure.
get time to. It's just something's missing. So it's interesting what you said earlier about just that intuition pulling you,
Mm.
and you're unconsciously doing it. That's what you really want to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
It's already showing up in your life.
Right. Exactly.
It's already manifesting itself. It's just intuitively. And you have to connect to what that is. But I think another thing where people run into trouble, and we can do it with some things in life. I think we're pretty good about doing it with children, having children, and relationships. But for somehow or another, the masses have disregarded this wisdom when it comes to other aspects of life. So, for example, when I'm talking about with children, you talk to any parent or you talk to anybody that's raised a child and you say, how is it? Like everybody knows that if you're going to have a child, it's going to be the highlights of your life and the most painful, tragic, difficult things to go through, right? Anybody that knows that, and traditionally when people get married, they say it in the vows, for rich or for poor, right? In sickness and in health, right? Do you take the highs and the lows?
Right.
And anybody that knows that's raised children today, they say it's the most rewarding part of their life and the most emotionally draining, difficult, traumatic part of their life. And so we're okay with it when it comes to relationships and we're okay with it when it comes to children. I think generally speaking, people get that. But then they don't apply that same principles to their other life. And the problem that ends up happening is people have this fantasy of a one-sided universe. And what that means is that they can expect to have a positive without a negative. It's like you can have light without darkness, or you can have left without right, or you can have up without down. And anytime you compare your life to a one-sided fantasy, you're always going to lose. And I think that's a huge source of depression today. There's a Buddhist saying that goes something along the lines of the pursuit of that which is unattainable and the desire to avoid that which is unavoidable is the cause of all human suffering. And I think people that are in pursuit, and the young people today, especially with social media, they get this idea that, right, people are just broadcasting the highlights of their lives, this one-sided part. And so people can get this wrong expectation that life is going to be this one-sided, blissful experience. And then it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy that you create in your mind. And if you compare your life to this fantasy that you've invented for yourself, you're always going to lose. And that's going to lead to depression, dissatisfaction, and a whole host of other problems. And I think whether it's being realistic about the craft of acting or filmmaking or being artistic or having a family, having children, whatever it is that you have to look at what is authentically truthful about the duality of life. And that you can't, it's like trying to crack a magnet in half and only take the positive and disregard the negative. You can't do it, and it causes a lot of problems because there's only really three things that we can control in life, and that's our perceptions, our decisions, and our actions. And if your perceptions are not grounded in reality and truthfulness, it's going to affect your decisions and your actions. It's going to cause a lot of problems for you.
Whew, there's a whole list of things I can pull out of that. That's well, 'cause I was listening to something too, and someone says, "Are you creating the life you want, or are you letting life take you whatever direction?" And then it really does remind me how key it is to know your values, like what you're saying. Because if you don't know those, you're going to get pulled. It's going to be so easy for you to sway this way, sway that way. But when you know who you are, when you know what you want, it's going to be a lot easier to make decisions, I would think.
Yeah.
Because you know that what's not for you. You know what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
You know
you'll take the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Some of the best times I've ever had on my life is when I was on set and we were running over a budget, and I shot a short film with Mark Pellegrino, a fantastic actor, many, many years ago. And we had some troubles on set with production. And we started at 7 a.m. and we ended at 7 a.m. I shot for 24 hours straight.
Wow.
24 hours straight. And some of the crew were leaving in the middle of the night, and I was begging the actors to. It was poor planning on some and some extenuating circumstances that just couldn't have been predicted that caused the problem. But man, I tell you, when at the end, after no sleep for I don't know how many hours it was, but it was such a high. I was like, man, it was like so stressful and lack of sleep, and everybody's moody and emotional, but wouldn't trade it for the world. So, when you're working within your purpose and what fulfills you, you take the good and you take the bad. It's all part of it.
Yeah, very purpose. I think that's, especially as of late, that's one thing I really, once you're on your purpose, I mean, yeah, like you're exactly right. It's not even bad. It's just part of it. You've just accepted, I'm going to take all of it, whatever this is.
You take it all.
You take it all.
Yeah, you take it all. And that's the same in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? In the beginning, it's this honeymoon romance and all this stuff, wonderful
dopamine,
stuff. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's right. That's the way we run physiologically, and the brain chemistry and all that stuff, right? To get us engaged, to get us right into that union or that arrangement or partnership, whatever. But then, of course, then the other side, right? Because it's not one-sided, so we have to see the other side, and then, of course, right? But then we say, well, you know what? I'll take it anyway. I'll take the whole package because it's fulfilling. It's purposeful for me.
It's almost too like that's a lot of things in life. There's always going to be the two sides, like the light and the dark. Like you just said, you can't break the magnet.
No.
So no matter how awesome something or incredible something is to you, it's going to come. Yeah. There's going to be a balance to that.
Yeah. And the problem is that people somehow think that there can be one side. There's always a positive and a negative. Whether you can see it or not, it's there. And sometimes seeing that other side comes with time and perspective being removed from it. And sometimes people don't see it at all, or they're not even aware, like you were saying earlier. They're just not even aware that there's two sides, because all there are really in the universe is events. There's just events. That's all that happens, whether it's the extinction of the dinosaurs or whatever, what do you have it? They're just events. It's us as humans that label, that give a charge to that event, a positive or negative charge. And whether you can see the other side of the coin, it's there, whether you're aware of it or not, it's there. If you were to win the lottery, people, it'd be so amazing. I won the lottery, right? I won the Powerball. I've got $20 million. I'm on Easy Street now. No. Right? There's the stress of having that extra money, the friends and the family members that come out of the woodwork. Everybody starts reaching out their hands, and you got to worry about who you can trust. Right? And then, of course, now everybody wants to manage your money, or you make the wrong financial decisions, or you overextend yourself because you think, well, gosh, I've got this endless supply of money now. I could never not possibly spend it all. And if I think the statistics is that most people that become millionaires within a certain amount of years go totally broke.
Yeah.
Right? And then how does it feel? What's worse, to have had all that money and to be back where you were, or to never have had it at all? You follow?
Yeah.
So people just think, oh, it's a one-sided event. Nope. Even when positive things happen, there's always a negative side to it, whether you're aware of its existence or not.